Before we deconstruct the brutal systematic extraction of your cognitive labor and exact architectural blueprint required to declare an absolute professional independence in the 2026 economy, I have exactly three questions for you to answer in the comments below. Number one, are you currently operating under a catastrophic delusion that a traditional 9 to 5 paycheck provides structural safety, completely blind to the fact that you are the most fragile node in your corporation's balance sheet? Number two, do you understand the lethal mathematical difference between renting your professional identity to a legacy conglomerate and building a proprietary high leverage entity that you own completely? Number three, if your corporate department was liquidated tomorrow by an autonomous algorithmic swarm, do you possess the sovereign infrastructure to transition instantly into one-person powerhouse? Or would your cash flow drop to zero? Let me know your answer. For those who are new, I'm Dr. HR. I approach the global labor and capital market not with emotional comforting advice but as a cold structural algorithmic system. I hold a PhD in human resources, a master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences TISS in Mumbai, and a bachelor's in computer engineering. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for tier 1 corporate entities, sovereign wealth funds, and apex tech founders across the Middle East and India, I monitor exactly how global talent is valued, commoditized, and ultimately replaced. The market does not reward you for trading your biological time for a flat corporate salary. It rewards absolute uncompromising structural ownership. The traditional 9 to 5 isn't just outdated, it is a structural trap that ruthlessly exploits your cognitive labor while offering mathematically zero long-term security. While the majority of a global workforce clings desperately to the fragile safety of a paycheck, a new elite class is emerging from the chaos, the Soloist Sovereign. These operators are aggressively deconstructing their corporate dependency to build antifragile AI integrated empires. In 2026, staying an employee in your absolute greatest risk, we are witnessing the total decay of corporate structures as we once knew it. Your professional identity is currently a depreciating asset owned by someone else. By re engineering your skill into a proprietary, high leverage entity, you insulate yourself from a systemic market volatility currently crushing the Middle East. Before I completely dismantle the illusion of corporate security, expose the exact mechanics of cognitive economics, and give you a precise blueprint to integrate advanced AI into your workflow to become an unstoppable solo powerhouse, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor and capital market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these executions protocol. Stop selling your hours, start engineering yours, or grab a notebook. It is time to architect your exit. Phase 1, the Contrarian reality check, the structural trap. We must first diagnose the exact debilitating economic illusion that has paralyzed the global white-collar workforce from Bangalore to Silicon Valley. For the last century, the foundational agreement of a modern economy was a corporate contract. You surrendered your absolute autonomy, your peak biological hours, and the intellectual property of your mind. In exchange, the corporation provided you with a fixed salary, health insurance, and a psychological comfort of predictability. In May 2026, that contract is completely void. The predictability is a mirage. We must execute the physics of a corporate arbitrage. A corporation only hires you if the economic value of your output is significantly higher than the cost of your salary. If you generate $500,000 in a value, the company pays you $120,000 and captures the $380,000 delta. That is how the system functions. However, with the deployment of autonomous AI agent, the corporation no longer needs to pay you a $120,000 salary baseline to extract the $50,000 value. They can deploy an enterprise LLM for a fraction of a cent. Therefore, your safe 9 to 5 job is actually a high-risk, low-yield gamble. You are carrying 100% of your asymmetrical upside. While most people cling to the fragile safety of this depreciating paycheck, The sovereign operator understands that a job is merely a temporary subsidy. It is a place to extract capital and skills until you can fund your own independence. The era of being a company man is over. It is hyper volatile market where executives use AI efficiency to mask the massive financial layoff. Staying an employee is the highest risk mathematical position you can possibly take. Phase 2. The high stakes visionary, the depreciating identity. To successfully execute an exit from this matrix, you must ruthlessly audit your professional identity. Who actually owns the value you create? When you introduce yourself at a networking event in the DIFC or a conference in Mumbai, you likely say, I'm a director of marketing at Corporation X, or I'm a senior engineer at a tech giant Y. This is the ultimate indicator of fragility. Your entire professional identity is a depreciating asset owned by a third party. If you are fired tomorrow, you lose the title, you lose the email ID, and you lose your perceived market value. You are a renter, not an owner. The sovereign architect execute a massive psychological and structural pivot. You must stop selling your hours and start building a sovereign architecture. You re-engineer your raw skills into proprietary, high-leverage entity. You transition from being an employee who does marketing to an independent sovereign operator who provides the turnkey AI integrated revenue generations for Tier 1 brand. When you build an independent entity, you capture the true value of your cognitive labor. You decouple your income from your biological time. If you write a piece of code or design an HR optimization process inside a corporation, the corporation owns the intellectual property forever. If you build that exact same HR process optimization utilizing Lean Six Sigma and value stream mapping as a solo sovereign, you package it, you license it, and you sell it to 50 different corporations simultaneously. You transform a single unit of labor into a permanent compounding wealth. This is how you insulate yourself from a systemic market volatility. When the market crashes, the fragile employee is terminated. The solo sovereign simply pivot their client base and sell restructuring solutions to companies that are panicking. Phase 3. The future-proof transformation, the cognitive economics. How is this massive transition physically possible? In the past, building an independent empire required raising capital, hiring a staff of 50 people, and managing massive overhead. Welcome to the era of cognitive economics. We are witnessing the total decay of a traditional corporate structure because the cost of operational leverage has dropped to zero. You do not need to hire an HR department, a legal team, a copywriting staff, and data analysis division. You execute the one-person powerhouse model. The solo sovereign operates as a singular, high-friction biological node at the center of an algorithmic swarm. You are the architect. The AI is the execution layer. Let us map the mechanics of this transformation. The AI legal department. You use your advanced frontier model to review a complex vendor contract, flag liability clauses, and structural international agreement. The AI financial division. You deploy the autonomous agent to audit your cash flow, reconcile localized tax compliances, and run predictive runaway models. The AI production arm. You feed your raw, unstructured strategic thoughts into an LLM and command it to synthesize high-density white papers, code blocks, or pitch decks. Your job is no longer a manual execution, your job is a cognitive orchestration. You define the parameter, verify the output, and manage the messy, irrational human relationship with your clients. By integrating advanced AI into your personal workflow, you achieve the output of a 20% agency with the agility and zero overhead of a singular individual. This gives you a terrifying competitive advantage against legacy operations. While they spend 3 weeks organizing committee meetings to approve a strategy, you formulate, synthesize, and deploy the solution in 45 minutes. You thrive on a chaos that paralyzes the bloated corporate behemoth. Phase 4. The India-UAE execution grid. You must strictly apply this blueprint to macroeconomic reality of an India-UAE talent corridor, the most aggressive and the high-velocity economic theater on the UAE sovereign strategy. the high-value monopoly. Dubai and Abu Dhabi operates under the high-accelerated mandates to the D33 agenda. The region is flooded with global capital, ultra-high net worth individuals, and massive infrastructure projects. The traditional expat trap is to secure a mid-level corporate job, lease a luxury apartment, and become a slave to a high inflation lifestyle. The solo sovereign bypasses this completely. You leverage the UAE's frictionless corporate setup structure, you establish a free zone entity, securing your own residency independent of an employer. You target the high friction, unautomatable sectors. For example, you master the UAE real estate market, building RERA compliant partnership structures and utilizing AI to execute highly targeted property investment ROI analysis for international investors. You act as a singular, high trust biological bridge for a foreign capital. You do not need an office with 100 brokers. You need an internet connection, a deep understanding of local compliance, and absolute cognitive dominance. You extract the tax-free capital directly from the Indian escape velocity, breaking the service trap. India possesses the deepest pool of technical talent on earth, but millions of elite operators are trapped in the massive IT service conglomerate, functioning as an easily replaceable cog in an outsourcing machine that is currently being automated by the LLMs. The Indian solo sovereign execute escape velocity. You refuse to sell your labor in rupee to a local middleman who resell it in dollar. You establish a borderless digital identity. You package your deep technical expertise, whether it is at building deep logic architecture for corporate strategy or optimizing complex Oracle SCM deployment, and you sell it directly to the global market. You live in a low-cost, high-growth environment in India, but your revenue is decoupled from your local geography. You capture the global currency premium while operating a hyper-lean, AI-driven solo structure. You become a self-contained economic state. Phase 5. The studio architecture. Broadcasting your soul. You cannot build a solo empire in secret. If you leave the corporate matrix, you lose the automatic credibility of a corporate logo on your business card. You must replace that institutional credibility with a sovereign authority. To survive as a soloist, you must become your own media company. You must broadcast your deep logic and your unautomatable human friction to the global grid. This requires the construction of an elite high-fidelity broadcasting node. You clear a dedicated space, a 9 by 9 foot room in more than sufficient. You engineer the environment for absolute professional authority. You deploy acoustic treatment to eliminate echoes. You rig high-contrast cinematic lighting to command the visual frame. You deploy the professional-grade equipment. You mount a Sony FX2 Cineline camera or equivalent paired with, 24 to 50 lens to navigate the spatial constraint perfectly. You import the data into DaVinci Resolve 20, grading the footage to achieve a sharp, uncompromising cinematic aesthetic. That is not about being an influencer. That is about establishing a high-stakes visual monopoly. You record a highly structured, unsentimental teardowns of complex industry bottleneck. You explain exactly how your proprietary methodologies solve problems that standard algorithms cannot touch. You broadcast these artifacts directly to the C-suites and sovereign wealth funds. When a Tier 1 executive watches that footage, they do not see a freelancer. They see an apex solo sovereign operating out of a world-class digital studio. You bypass the procurement department and the RFP processes. The client comes directly to you, and they pay you the absolute premium because your authority is mathematically undeniable. Phase 6, the exit protocol. We have diagnosed the trap to the 9 to 5 map, the physics of cognitive economics, exposed the power of AI swarm, and analyze the India-UAE regional arbitrage. The final phase is your immediate execution blueprint. How do you engineer your exit? Step 1. The liquidation of ego. You must accept the status of your current corporate title is an illusion. Strip away the vanity. You are a biological asset being rented by a balance sheet. Accept the fragility of your position so you can aggressively build your anti-fragility. Step 2. The portfolio transition. You do not quit your job tomorrow in a blaze of emotional glory. That is reckless. You use your corporate salary as a seed capital. While you are inside the corporation, you begin engineering your proprietary system. You build your AI workflow in the shadows. You secure your first three independent contract while your employer is still paying for your health insurance. Step 3. The high friction mode. Define exactly what you will sell. Do not sell generic services. Sell the high friction, unautomatable judgment that corporations are terrified to leave to a machine. Sell accountability, deep strategic synthesis, and structural transformation. Step 4. The severance. When your solo revenue mathematically exceed your corporate baseline and your AI infrastructure is fully operational, you execute the exit. You do not burn the bridge. You restructure the relationship. You transition your former employer from your boss into your first major client. Look at the hierarchy that dictates your hours, caps your salary, and control your future. The 2026 automated economy is dismantling the structural entirely. You can either wait for an algorithm to make you redundant, or you can become an architect of your own sovereignty. Stop selling your biological time. Engineer your proprietary entity. Master the cognitive swarm. Build your broadcasting node and force the global economy to pay you an absolute premium for your absolute independence. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I will see you at the top.